Welcome back, everybody. I am your host, Zayachusk here, bringing you back to the Bone Zone. We were just going to pick up right where we left off last time with our Pokemon Blue Nuzlocke Attempt 3. So if I recall, we were trying to grind up a little bit before we went into Viridian Forest so that we can kind of like slim down our encounter possibilities. Alright. I'm not sure if I went over this in the last episode or not, especially with starting Attempt 3 here. For the mode of the game, I did return it back to Switch. I just wasn't really having as much fun with it being put in set mode. And I think we can train Donkey up here. Maybe. If there's even anything in the grass. There we go. Dang, I got a decent Rattata here, because that attack is no joke. You know, how far is Donkey from being not very far at all? But I don't think Donkey gets quick attack at 7. I think it's a little later. I think it's closer to 9. Or I could be wrong. Actually, before we head in to Viridian, I'm gonna heal up. Okay, so for those who may just be tuning in to this little Nuzlocke challenge, we are about to head into Viridian Forest, which is a little bit can be a little bit scary if we're not paying attention. Mostly because of the Pokemon Weedle and literally no other Pokemon. Because Weedle is a poison type and has the move Poison Sting, which has, I believe it's either 15, somewhere between like 15 and 30% chance to poison the target. And, you know, which, as you can probably expect, as you go throughout the battle, your Pokemon takes damage if it's poisoned. What you might not suspect is it also applies outside of battle. That's a duplicate. So, I am just gonna knock this thing out, because that is a duplicate. So, for example, if I have a poison Pokemon and even though I finish the fight, afterwards, every 4 steps, it will inflict 1 point of damage to that Pokemon because it's poisoned. And generally, there's at this point in the game, there's kind of really only 2 options to deal with that effectively. That's either to use antidotes, which are just healed poison straight up, and the other one is to get to a Pokemon Center to heal it. In which case, there is one antidote you get for free, so it's a get out of jail free card one time in this entire forest. But other than that, it's kind of a bit of a walk in between from point A to point B for Pokemon Center to Pokemon Center. This is also a duplicate. I kind of want to see what kind of an encounter we can get still. I know, if I recall, there's 3 possible encounters left that we can actually hit. That being Weedle, Kakuna, and on the extremely lucky case, Pikachu. I don't expect Pikachu. I kind of expect, worst case scenario obviously is Kakuna, because Kakuna in the wild doesn't actually have a damaging move. So when you go to try to train it, you have to switch train it every time. Whereas Weedle at least has a damaging move that can at least help it to train itself. Man, I'm getting stone nothing right now. Pause buffering might get the RNG to actually start working again here. I think at this point we're just gonna go for the fight. So as I mentioned before, Weedle can have Poison Sting, which has the chance to poison. With us being this far in the forest, I don't think it's as much of a concern. The worst case scenario, yeah, it happened there. Like I said, I'm not all too worried since we're near the end of the forest. And it's also dead, so we don't even take damage this turn. If we do have a case where, like, it's very far away from the ability to heal for poison, so I'm just double checking my HP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, we're good. But worst case scenario, if it's like a very long stretch and one of our Pokemon could potentially be poisoned, we do have a backup strat, which is to switch to Nidoran, which in this case is Puss in Boots. So Nidoran is a poison type itself, which means if someone tried to use a poison type move, it's not very effective, but it also has the added benefit of being completely immune to being statused from the same type. So poison types can't be poisoned, electric types can't be paralyzed by electric moves, etc. Now, obviously, like, if you use an electric move that has a chance to paralyze on a normal type, it still works just fine. However, it comes in very niche cases where, like, Body Slam, which is a normal type move that can paralyze, does not paralyze on other normal types, but will on any other type that it can hit. So, like I said, we're going to keep trying to go for our encounter in here, because I'm not going to pass up an encounter. Just as though, one thing to note, because of a thing called version exclusives. So, ever since the very first Pokemon games, they've always come up with 2 versions. So in this case, it was red and blue. Each version has differences to each other. Some of which being some Pokemon just straight up are not available in that version. One of the other differences is some Pokemon have an extremely higher chance to appear than another. Usually it's kind of like an opposing or a similar Pokemon. So for example, in Pokemon Blue, Caterpie and Metapod have an increased chance to come up in this forest, even though Weedle still can come up. Whereas Red, it's the opposite. Weedle comes up a lot more frequently than... Like, the Weedle line comes up more than the Caterpie line. Which does make the the trek through Viridian Forest in red version a little bit more hectic, I would say, because of that fact. But what it ultimately means is that we could potentially be here a good couple minutes or so, just trying to find our actual encounter. Like I said, there's only 3 potential remaining from the pool that actually spawns here. That being Weedle, Kakuna, and Pikachu. Ideally, we can do either Weedle or Pikachu. I'm not too opposed to either of those. Obviously, Pikachu being Electric type can be pretty good. Not against Brock, of course, because his gym is completely immune to it, since his Pokemon are also partially ground typing. But as soon as we beat Brock's gym, it's much, much better. Weedle can be decent, especially once we if we catch it and turn it into a Beedrill. Because again, like in this generation, Brock, even though he's the rock type gym leader, doesn't have any actual rock type moves. So we're not like super afraid of like getting one hit KO'd by like Rock Tomb or Rock Throw or anything like that, because they're also not high enough level to learn that. And in Gen 1, all Pokemon like that trainers just have level up movesets. That being said, Beedrill has a high attack. Okay, let's not worry about that. Well, I mean, obviously we still want to. I think I actually want to switch in to Puss in Boots because I want to get a tackle, but not outright kill. Actually, that's good for us. Man, this thing does not want to catch, does it? Oh, we got 7 more chances here. Alright. Any suggestions for nicknames for Pikachu? We're just gonna mascot. Okay, so it actually does have Thunder Shock, which I wasn't sure because it kept growling. Give me 1 second. Okay. No, go back up. So what I was going to say, since I kind of got distracted by Pikachu of all things being our encounter. Beedrill is okay. Its attack stats really good, but I don't believe we get a really good move for it until a little bit later on. Maybe like I believe the 20s, but I'm not super sure on its moveset. Or its learn set, I should say. Like I said, it's fantastic attack stat for the early game. Falls off a little bit after Misty, I would say. But, I don't think it does enough against Brock, but I could be wrong on that. I swear I'm not I swear I'm not playing Pokemon Yellow right now. Like I said, Pikachu, it's not going to be very great for Brock's gym, because like I said, it resists, once it gets Quick Attack, it's resistant to that, and then like, his Geodude and Onix resist it, and then Thundershock, both of his Pokemon just straight up are immune to, because they're both ground types as well. So, definitely not going to be involved in that fight if we can help it. Even though, like I said, like they don't have any threatening moves for the most part, just also us doing Stone Nothing's not really a great option either, so usually the strat here for us, especially with us going Charmander, is to get Butterfree at level 10, then get it to 12, so that it can learn Confusion, which just goes right over Brock. Just straight up goes through his team. Because his Pokemon are physically defensive, but not specially defensive. And that being a special move just goes right through it. There's no resistance. It just is a very, very quick solution to the problem. Okay, Mascot's level 5. We're gonna heal. I do appreciate that they keep throwing Pidgeys mostly, because those are some pretty decent kills for Mascot. I have no idea what's up with this D-pad, but it likes to do whatever the hell it wants. Right, so I don't know why it went down. Eight damage even under a crit, so that's actually not too bad. If it's a Pidgey, we'll stay. If it's... yeah, okay. And then after this fight, we're gonna go heal. Probably one-shot this. I think it would have done so even if it wasn't a crit, but... Right now, I'm just trying to catch Mascot up to the rest of the team here. But yeah, so, like I said, even though Pikachu's not great for, again, up to Brock, it's not good. After Brock, it starts picking up speed because a couple of trainers have Pidgeys or even Spearows, which obviously Pidgey Mascot just kind of goes right through. But also just, even through Mount Moon, with the fact that there's so many chances to hit a Zubat as not only your encounter obviously, but just wild in general, whether you're training or just trying to get through, it can just go through those real quick, build up some experience while doing so, and then obviously after that, the most important part, well, there's actually two major important parts. It makes the mandatory Rival 2 fight really, really nice for us. And then on top of that, it also makes Misty really, really nice. The reason it makes Rival 2 fight good is because he first leads out with Pidgeot, which, if you're not paying attention, it can actually be very scary because of how fast it is. Because at that point, it's level 18, which is kind of a surprise at that point, but... And then, since we also chose Charmander as our starter, he chose Squirtle, and Pikachu just, again, demolishes that. And then for Misty, both are water types. We got Staryu, Starmie. So just Thunderbolt, and or Thundershock, and we're just keeping on going. the other nice thing is it's also a pretty good pivot. Being an electric type, obviously you can begin some very obvious ground type moves. So once we get if we can get a flying type, it can definitely shove us in a electric flying pivot core. And for those who do not know what that means, so let's say that there is a Pokemon that has a move that's not favorable towards our flying type Pokemon that we hopefully eventually catch. But we also know that it has ground type moves. So the AI generally focuses on trying to go for super effective moves as far as typing goes, regardless as if those moves actually do damage. So for example, near the very end, Lance's Dragonairs and Dragonites have agility, which are psychic type moves. So if you front flop something that's normally weak to psychic type moves, they're just going to do nothing but spam agility thinking it's going to do something. And sometimes that's even true later in the games, to a very lesser degree. It's just more so prevalent in this game. So anyway, back to what I was trying to say. So they have a move we don't like for a flying type. So what we do, because we also know they have a ground type move, like Dig, Earthquake, etc. So we switch, so we have Pikachu come out, right? So then the AI goes, hey, wait a minute, that's an electric type. I have a ground type move that is super effective against that. I am going to use that. But us knowing that, once it actually goes to use that move, we switch back to the flying type, because the flying type is straight up immune to the ground move, and thus we have a safe switch in. And thus, like, you pivot, so you go flying, electric, flying, because you pivot from one to the other. So I'm not gonna lie, if once we get past Brock and whatnot, on Route 3 we have an encounter which I think Pidgey and Rattata are part of that pool, but obviously we have those already, so they're gonna, or not Pidgey actually. We have Rattata. Pidgey might be our encounter. It might not. I know the other two Pokemon, the other two Pokemon that we can hit that are not going to be duplicate, because Nidoran female, I believe, is an encounter there. But I believe the possible ones we can hit is Spearow, which is straight up a better flying type than Pidgey. It's just more offensive. I believe it also has a little bit of a better move pool. Oh, it gets Thunder Wave before it gets Quick Attack. That's neat. I did not know that. It also evolves a lot earlier. I mean, obviously you get Pidgeotto a lot sooner, but at the same time, like, Pidgeotto versus Pharaoh is night and day. And then the other possible encounter is Jigglypuff, which is just trash. It's kind of basically a worse version of another encounter that we possibly could be coming up on in the future, near future I should say, which is Clefairy in Mount Moon. It's extremely rare for that to be the very first Pokemon we come across, so I don't expect it. It can be good because it has a very, very diverse move pool, and it's at least somewhat pretty bulky, but also has decent special attack. However, it's usually not what I want to go for. I mean, obviously with a Nuzlocke you don't get as much choices as you would like, but if I could get a Zubat or even a Geodude, if I was extremely lucky, I would definitely go for that. But basically, Jigglypuff is a straight-up worse version of Clefairy because its move pool is not as great and its stats are even worse. Evolves roughly around the same time, though, so there is that. But like I said, it's just terrible. So ideally, we would want our encounter for Route 3 to be Spearow. Not only because it gives us a flying type for flying electric pivot, but which actually gets even better once we get Nidoqueen, because then we'll have a flying ground electric pivot core, which means we can basically pivot into whatever we want. But also just because of the possible hits that we can get, it's probably the best option. Next, I would say, because like I said, I believe Pidgey is an option there. If it's Rattata, it's a repeat, which we don't care. Nidoran female is a repeat, so we don't care. And then Jigglypuff, we would just straight up box because it's not good. Depending how the encounters go, obviously, I want to get the Magikarp at Mount Moon Pokemon Center. But we are already starting to get tight on our team, but depending on how that is, we might actually ditch Donkey, the Rattata, because, strictly speaking, Gyarados, which is what Magikarp evolves into, is very frequently regarded as the best Pokemon for a Nuzlocke throughout the entire series. Not just this game, but for every sequential game going forward that it's available in. It's got good typing, good move pool, good stats. I think we're gonna go for level 12 for catching everybody up to speed before Brock. That way, not only do we just have a general nice level flat area to start at for our team level, but also because by then we'll have Butterfree, and Butterfree will also have Confusion. And then Mount Moon, I'm pretty sure I've gone over this before, but I definitely can do so again. Mount Moon encounters. What we ideally want, best case scenario, is we want Geodude. Reason being we want Geodude is because, as we will see once we take on Brock, it is a rock and ground type. Well, rock and ground types actually have quite a bit of resistances. One of which being normal, which is basically the most frequent attacking type in the game at this point. Somewhat true in the next generation as well, once we ever get to that. But not only that, it's incredibly bulky. It has a ground typing, which can also be part of that pivot core that I was mentioning. Once it becomes a Graveler, it just straight up learns Earthquake naturally, which is, I would argue, is probably the best move throughout Pokemon history. Like, not just this game and stuff, just in general. It's a flat 100 damage, 100 accuracy, hits everybody it can once it gets to more, like, once we get to, like, Generation 3, they start introducing double battles. It hits everything. It's just such a great move. And usually, by the time you get to Earthquake, using Earthquake, it just hits so heavier than you think. For the most part. Because if something doesn't hit hard with Earthquake, it's not usually Earthquake's fault, it's usually the stats of the Pokemon using it. So yeah, that is why Geodude is fantastic early game for us right now. Like I said, that's the ideal dream scenario for Mount Moon encounter because it sets us up quite a bit. Obviously, we don't want to put it in front of the Misty fight. We can use it a bit for the Rival 2 fight before Misty, because I always do Misty afterwards. We do just have to navigate around the Squirtle. It completely clowns on Lieutenant Surge. And by the time, and we already got Charmander for Erica, so that's not a big deal either. And clowns on Koga to a also funny extent. And even, like, it just, from after Erica, it just clowns on most gyms. Straight up, like, Earthquake or even Dig, if you're that desperate, on Koga, just knocks him down. Especially Dig against the Weezing that can self-destruct. It just says, I'm going to go hide in a corner for a moment while you just blow yourself up and I win. It's good against Blaine because fire types and they don't really have much against rock or anything that opposes fire in general. Solar Beam, I think, is the only stray chance, but even then, it's usually dead before it actually gets to fire it off. And Sunny Day doesn't exist yet. Like, weather in general doesn't exist yet. And then, for most of Giovanni's team, it kind of dunks on too. Let's see, it dunks on both the Nidos. I'm not sure if it dunks so hard on Rhydon, because Rhydon is basically the better version of Golem. And if we do get that, Golem is pretty good. It's not... I'm not sure if it would be able to go toe-to-toe with it. It should, in theory, on paper, because their stats are pretty close to each other and they're the same type. But Rhydon has a vastly bigger move pool and has a bit more bulk compared to Golem that has, I believe, a little bit more speed, but I could be wrong that. And I'm trying to remember what else Giovanni has. I think he also has another Rhyhorn. Which case, if there's a Rhyhorn on his team as well, it just trashes it. Because Rhyhorn versus Rhydon is just, Rhyhorn is pretty bad. Rhydon is pretty good. Following that, in our Mount Moon encounters, Zubat. In this generation, and subsequently the Generation 3, I believe, Generation 3 only. Zubat is good. It's not as great as it could be because of its evolution being from Gen 2 onwards, and like I said, in Gen 3, there's the very... because I don't believe Zubat is available in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, but it's been a while since I tried to hunt that down in that generation, so I could be wrong. There are remakes of Red and Blue in Generation 3, but they limit to the evolutions of Pokemon that evolved after Generation 1 to the post-game. So if you try to evolve Golbat into Crobat in Generation 3, it will not let you unless you have hit post-game. Now, Golbat is not the greatest, but it has quite a bit of resistances. It's not nearly as great as Crobat, obviously, and it also has quite a bit of moves that can just be straight up agitating for the opponent. Like, it's got Confused Ray, it can fly, I think it gets Supersonic earlier than Confused Ray, so it's less effective in that. I can't remember if it gets Hypnosis or not. I would not be surprised if it does. But, like, it can just do all sorts of stuff, especially, like, Toxic, too. It can definitely Toxic things. The problem in Gen 1, specifically for Golbat, is being a Poison type is almost pretty bad, to the point, like, you don't want to use it because Psychic types reign supreme in this gen. And as we saw with my first attempt, going up against the final fight with Blues, or the final fight with Nuzlocke's, like, final rival fight with his Alakazam, it just trashed us. Straight up. Trashed us. Now, however, once we get to a point where we can make Crobat happen, so Gens 2 and 4, and then onwards after that, so on and so forth, Crobat is amazing. Significantly faster than Golbat, and has such a bigger, faster move pool. And like I said, it retains that, even though it does retain the poison typing, which usually is not great, the fact that A, it's still flying type, and B, by the point that you start getting Crobat, that Psychic types no longer reign supreme. They kind of get more balanced out as time goes on. So you don't have to be as afraid of that. And by the point where you do get a Crobat, it's pretty telegraphed how much you need to pivot it around Psychic moves. Okay, mascot's 12. So now we are going to switch to Fiona. But long story short, in this generation, Golbat's okay. It's not fantastic. Like, it definitely will be Gen 2 and onward. Following that is Clefairy, which I briefly covered before. Great, fantastic move pool. Pretty decent stats, surprisingly. It's definitely not enough to, like, solo runs and whatnot. It definitely needs help. The typing is also, depending on the game, can be different. So, like, from 1 through 5, Clefairy line / Clefable is normal type. From Gen 6 onwards, it is Fairy type, which makes it way, 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 way better. It definitely, and it also evolves pretty early. It evolves as soon as you find a Moonstone. potion here. Just because I want to keep Fiona in to get the most experience from this. And then last on the impossible encounters in Mount Moon itself is Paris. Paris is so bad. So bad. It's a grass bug type, which is really, really bad. Has so many weaknesses. Its stats are really bad. And on top of that, its only redeeming quality, which is it learns Spore, which puts the enemy to sleep. It gets it so late. It's so bad. Like, straight up, if I get a Paris in Mount Moon, it's going straight into the box. No ifs, ands, or buts. I will say I'm actually a little surprised that Fiona didn't automatically learn Harden when it became a Metapod. That is something that's a little interesting. Okay, so I think that since we're done training up Mascot to level 12, we're actually going to head back to Viridian Forest for training because there's a little bit more XP gained from like the Metapods and stuff like that. That, and if we do encounter a Weedle, we're so close to the Pokemon Center, it's not a big deal. I think Caterpie also gives somewhat of a decent level of experience, a decent amount of experience upon getting defeated. Ooh, and it's level 5. I think the only thing better in this forest for us training-wise than a level 5 Metapod is a level 6 Metapod. And I think that's, other than Kakuna, of course, being in the same level range, I think that's the best as far as experience goes. We're just gonna keep on tackling our way here. Bit of a slog. I want to see how many tackles he's got left. 14. I think if we hit one more Metapod, we're good. Definitely do not want to do any more after that without healing up. I also probably should have looked at the experience I needed for that, but I kind of forgot. Go heal up because again I don't think I'd have enough tackles to get through any more mini pods, so like I said before, Weedle's a little bit more agitating, but because we're this close to the end of the forest, being in range to heal is not as big of an issue. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think once we get to 7:30, we're gonna take a small break here. check my tackle count here. Okay, yeah, that should definitely be enough to get through this. Level 5. That's actually not too bad to try to grind against. Man, even after a tail whip, it still only does 6. Okay, so one whole stage drop. Or 2, that's 3. Ooh, I think that's the first cocoon we've seen. Okay, it's 200. Since that no, go up, there we go. Yeah, not level 5, so definitely not worth my time. Alright. Yep, and the poison. did take 1 point of damage there. We're not messing around with that. 2, 3. Honestly, I think that might actually just be worth using the edit for, just so we can get that experience. Just full on heal it. Once we get through this metapod, we'll definitely take our break. And a crit would sure be nice in any of these. Okay. Just double check that real quick. Okay. Alright, everyone. We're going to take a short break here, so don't go away. We'll be back here in a little bit.
HelloFresh. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Every box comes pre-portioned, freshly packed, straight to your door. So HelloFresh saves our family so much time. We just choose what we want. Everything is already pre-portioned, packed, fresh, delicious. You guys, look at this. We got this done in less than 20 minutes. Cheers. There's no way I made that at home.
The noodles are never ending.
This tastes like something I would order at a restaurant.
Use code YouTube16FM for 16 free meals plus first box ships free.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform. Add products, showcase them dynamically, and seamlessly track your inventory. Accept multiple secure payments, and design your storefront down to the very last detail. Get all the tools you need. Drive more sales with customizable gift cards and flexible product subscriptions. Retain customers with a point-based loyalty program, email automations, and reach millions with sales channel integrations. Complete your setup with a personalized analytics dashboard. Make smart business decisions and shape the next phase of your business. Build, manage, and grow from one place. Go to Wix and launch your online business today.
back, everybody. Alright. Ooh. Ooh, that's really good. We definitely want that. We don't want the mistex. How much did that give me? Basically half. Okay. That's a little more than I expected. Okay. No, I don't want to switch the mascot. we're at this point we're gonna go heal just because everyone's low on PP. Alright, and we get butter free. Just curious, but Alright, one more level for Fiona. Alright, we're getting somewhere. I think we're good to train back up here now. At least for a little bit. Ooh, crit hit too. All these lower levels, I think we're going to go back to the forested grind. Just because they have a chance for higher levels there. Six as the possible highest, and then 3 for a Caterpie, and I think, yeah, but Caterpie, Weedle, and Pikachu have low of 3. That's 4 is the lowest for Kakuna and Metapod. Sweet. Now that we got Ember, it should go a lot smoother for Shrek here. Alright, so Shrek is 12. And we got Puss in Boots. I think it's 11 that we get Poison Sting here. But I could be wrong on that. Probably wrong on that. Puss in Boots is 10. 2 more to go, and then we just got Donkey left for 3 more levels. I think so. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god. Alright, Puss in Boots is 11. Oh, excuse me. So if we can get 2 good Metapod hits, then I think we'll be in good shape to knock out Puss in Boots for a night. Well, it's been a good minute or two since we've seen one of you. Alright everyone, I think we're gonna call it there for tonight. Obviously we're gonna pick up where we left off, where we leave off tonight, when we start up again. Not sure Thursday, possibly not, probably not, but if not on Thursday, then definitely on Friday at our normal time of 7 p.m. You can always catch my videos later on up here at my YouTube channel. Usually it's sometime around 24 hours I try to get it in. Tonight's will be no different. If you leave a follow here, it's greatly appreciated. You can always catch me live here, and then if you give me a subscribe up on the said YouTube channel, that also helps out a lot. In the meantime, I'll see you guys next time.